Hey everyone, welcome to another Grim Dawn skill guide overview video. In today's video, we're going over Primal Strike. The text. The first rite undertaken by novice shamans is to imbue their favored weapon with the raw force of a thunderstorm. Those that survive this critical step become scions to Mogdragon's will and guardians of their people. Requires a two-hand melee weapon or two-hand ranged weapon. So Primal Strike is kind of like your bread and butter shaman ability. Everyone that makes a friggin' warder is gonna go for Primal Strike. Unless you're doing something weird like I did for my warder. Because Primal Strike is really, really great. Primal Strike has sort of two modes, as the big sweeper haymaker thing that goes on cooldown, or as a spammable ability with its transmuter. It has that transmuter and two modifiers. The first modifier is Torrent. Torrential force cascades from your weapon, shocking a nearby target and leaping to further foes. Oh yeah, so the main thing you'll see from Primal Strike is you'll get a lightning bolt, and then with Torrent you'll see these little extra lightning things pop off, and it affects up to 5 targets. It deals physical lightning damage, has a chance to stun. And then you have the extra lightning damage and main hand damage popping off with Torrent. And then you have Storm Surge. Primal Strike's raw power surges through the target, bursting blood vessels. This adds more lightning damage, adds bleed damage, and increases the physical damage of the attack. The transmuter is Thunderous Strike. Stormcallers, members of a sect of shamanism devoted to the heavens, are known to call out Ultos, the god of the sky, when delivering nature's wrath upon their adversaries, allowing them to call down lightning with greater frequency. Thunderous Strike is not a default weapon attack enhancer and cannot trigger effects such as Feral Hunger. So what this does is it removes the cooldown, lowers the damage, removes the stun, lowers the energy cost, basically makes Primal Strike spammable. In the case of today's demonstration, we're using it in the cooldown mode, but you can do either one. And Primal Strike always requires a two-hand weapon. Primal Strike is lightning and bleed based, so obviously within the Shaman tree there are a ton of synergies. Savagery you can run as sort of your main attack, and then pepper in your Primal Strikes with the cooldown version. Savagery has Might of the Boar, which allows Savagery to deal more damage when you're using a two-hand weapon. Obviously Storm Totem works with it. Wendigo Totem with Blood Pack works with Primal Strike. Now Brute Force works with it, but Feral Hunger and Upheaval won't because of Thunderous Strike. But if you're using Savagery with a two-hander, you can use Brute Force with Feral Hunger and Upheaval and then have Primal Strike rotate in. Wind Devils with the Maelstrom ability, obviously Mesh 2. Grasping Vines has the bleed damage on it. You're obviously going to do Mogdragon's Pact at its lesser abilities, and it's up to you whether you do Stormcaller's Pact, should you go this deep into the Shaman tree, or Primal Bond. It depends on if you're building physical bleed or if you're building lightning. Now, like I said, warders tend to love this ability, because with the warder you can combine in things like Maynard's Will, and Veterancy, and Military Conditioning, and Decorated Soldier, and Scars of Battle, and Warcry, and hell, you could even in some weird way maybe work in Force Wave, and you have Blitz. And you can use all of these abilities to build up your defenses really, really high. Oh, and of course, Field Command and Squad Tactics. To build up your defenses really, really high, so you can just swing away with your Primal Striking. And a warder can get a crap ton of health with Heart of the Wild and Military Conditioning. So you get a really, really tanky character that can wield a two-hander and be really, really powerful. It's a very easy build, just right out of the box, to build a warder and focus on Primal Strike. Now we're going to look at a sorcerer here to see the Arcanist and Demolitionist, who I think are the two main other synergizing trees with Primal Strike. With the Arcanist, you can obviously pick up Mirror of Oraktes and Myvan Sphere, but Escondra's Elemental Exchange, all three of these fit really well with Primal Strike, because you'll just add on the flat elemental damage to all of your Primal Strike attacks. It obviously dings lightning damage with it, because it's all elemental damage, so that meshes really well with it, as does Trojan Sky Shards, because Trojan Sky Shards is half cold, half lightning, so you can focus on the Sky Shards themselves, and then the Shattered Star modifier, should you go this deep into a Druid, to do Primal Strike. Also, if you're going really deep on the Arcana side for a Druid with Primal Strike, Star Pact is kind of a way to go. And you could potentially gear a whole lot of cooldown reduction and use it in its cooldown mode. Now, in the Demolitionist, for a Elementalist combination, Flame Touched with its percent lightning damage and the bonus offensive ability, to me, is the main go-to. And you can kind of do a couple things here. You can sort of maybe pick up Skyfire Granado and use Granado as a lightning attack. You can pick up Thermite Mine to have the lightning resistance reduction. Throw out your Thermite Mines, the enemies step on them, they take the fire damage, whatever, but they take that reduced lightning resistance, and then you can sit there and Primal Strike them with that. But I could also see maybe using Fire Strike, specifically with Static Strike as a main attack, and then work in your Primal Strikes on top of that. Either you're Fire Striking to get the procs to knock down off of Static Strike, and then you're spamming your Primal Strikes with everything knocked down, or you're using Fire Strike as your main attack and rotating in Primal Strike on cooldown. I mean, technically Stun Jacks works with this, with full spread, and maybe even Quick Jacks, but I don't know if I'd go with that. I'd also consider Flashbanging in this particular weird-ass build. Otherwise, you're mostly doing it for the Flame Touched combination. It's sort of like, first is the Warder, second is the Druid, third is the Elementalist when it comes to Primal Strike. As far as items go, really you just need a good two-hand or melee or range for this to work. Vortex of Souls can actually be kind of heinous when you use it with Primal Strike, because you're plunking this rifle that's just piercing through everything, and the Primal Strikes are hitting through everything you're piercing through. But yeah, a two-hand melee weapon, like just a really solid one, like a Storm Reaver here, or the Ulto Stormseeker, and the Ulto set, which is kind of the, like, Primal Strike set you go for, because it's, you know, the 5-piece Primal Strike set for Shamans. When you go for this set, it actually can do quite a bit of stuff. I've seen it in action on the Friends build. I don't have the whole thing, I just have these two pieces. But yeah, that's your go-to on items for Primal Strike. You just really need a solid two-hand weapon. It doesn't even need to be, like, legendary. Just a solid, like, Troll Bone Smasher. That's a placeholder item, because this isn't the main build for this character. That'll work. Now for Devotion, I think the first thing you'd look at is maybe Reckless Tempest to add on some Lightning Bolts to Primal Strike. I could also see if you're building more of a bleeding build. I keep mentioning these, Rend and Hollow of Mogdragon. But I could also see, oddly enough, putting Arcane Bomb on it, because you'd want to reduce the lightning res of targets, and Arcane Bomb can do that, even though it is Aether Lightning. I could also see throwing something on like Bull Rush or Rend, or Maul, excuse me, on the Primal Strike to add just more damage to the ability. You could throw a lot on Primal Strike as a main attack. I could even see throwing on Assassin's Mark just to reduce physical resistance on a target, to deal just more of that physical damage with that portion of the ability. Just, you want to focus on elementals, you want to focus on bleeds. I mean, you can even throw on Falcon Swoop on the Primal Strike. That's another legitimate choice. But yeah, just stick to your damages. If you're using it in the cooldown mode, you'll obviously get a higher chance to proc these abilities. Reckless Tempest, I'd definitely put that on a spamming the Primal Strike build, rather than a cooldown build. The other ones I'd maybe consider more for a cooldown build. Primal Strike and cooldown build. Yeah, otherwise, pretty standard stuff. Search the elemental things, go for add-ons for it. You're mostly picking devotions in this case to support the build, whether that's going tanky or whether that's going DPS-y. So that's going to be a look at Primal Strike, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.